I'm Oliver North. The late Lieutenant General Ed Bronars and I founded Freedom Alliance to honor the young Americans who wear our nation's uniform and who sacrifice to safeguard our precious liberties. In the last 10 years, over 10,000 soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardsmen have lost their lives in the line of duty defending our country. Many of them left behind children who now face the challenge of paying for higher education. These are their stories.
It's nice to know that we're not forgotten. You know, we're still out there and people are still thinking about us.
It's always been a dream for mine to finish, come to a closure what he never was able to close.
My mom she tells me a little bit about him, I think, every day. We talk about him a lot in my house. And she always talks about how much he loved being in the Navy.
For so many years, my mom has always preached to me saying, your dad worked for this country and your country's never going to forget that. You know, they're not going to leave him out and just forget about it. And this proved to me that there are people out there who remember their fallen heroes and look after them and their families.
Supporting the children of America's military heroes, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who have been killed or permanently disabled in the line of duty has been the mission of the Freedom Alliance Scholarship Fund since it began over a decade ago. Hundreds of thousands of dollars have been awarded to the children of American heroes from the Persian Gulf War, the terrorist bombings of the USS Cole and Marine barracks in Beirut, the September 11th attack on the Pentagon, and the War on Terror.
America has to have warriors that are willing to pay the ultimate sacrifice to keep this nation free and great.
Warriors like Stephen Hattemer, who was killed in Iraq on Christmas Day. His son Bryce remembers his father.
One of the lessons he taught me was, he taught me not to quit and just keep on trying, no matter what you're going through, just to keep on going through it and don't quit. I apply it to life and everything, school. Like when it gets hard, you gotta keep on going. When I receive my payments from the scholarship fund, it reminds me that there's people out there that care about me, and there's people out there that just show that they know what's going on and the hardships that people are going through, and shows that they know that there's people out there giving their lives to protect them day in and day out.
Kathleen Bartram's father, Navy Lieutenant William Bartram, was killed when his jet crashed during a training mission.
He was a graduate from the Naval Academy. He just loved flying. He loved the Navy. Going to college is a big dream. I mean, I'm sure when you all have kids, that's your plan for them. I mean, you want them to grow up, make good choices, go to college, get a good job, and just, you know, have a nice family and all that kind of stuff. It's nice to know that we're not forgotten. You know, we're still out there and people are still thinking about us.
Eduardo Tolentino was an Army veteran who died when his son Aaron was only 2 years old.
We have boxes of uniforms. Me and my sister and my brother used to get dressed up in his military outfits for Halloween to set our name on the jacket. People would always ask, where'd you get that made? Like, I did, and I got it from my father. You know, so we always had stuff around the house that showed that he was there, and tons of pictures. Pictures of him and me when I was a baby, even though I don't remember the situations, but I can at least know that we were together at that time. And it didn't really hit me until I got the scholarship that even though he may have died when I was 2, like 17 years ago, 18 years ago, that this country and the Army didn't really forget about him, you know? He's acknowledged for what he did for his country.
Sarah Sebring's father, Larry, was killed at the age of 24 when his C-130 transport plane crashed.
My mom she tells me a little bit about him, I think, every day. We talk about him a lot in my house. And She always talks about how much he loved being in the Navy. She said he loved it. He went in when he was 18 and he was killed when he was 23, I think. And she just says how much he absolutely loved it. And I'm just very proud that I can have a father like that who loved what he did so much. This scholarship is very different from any other scholarship I've applied for or received in my life. And I believe that because it's allowing me to honor my father and honor all the other men who gave their lives for our country. And I feel very privileged to have this opportunity.
Lieutenant Commander Gerald Pells was killed when his helicopter crashed into the North Arabian Sea during a routine training mission. Left behind were his young widow and 3 children. His son Kyle, today an accomplished pilot himself, reflects on his father.
He started building something and then something tragically happened. And I want to be that something that can finish what he never finished. He's always been a part of my life. I remember every time that I would ever go for any kind of aviation reading, I would go and I'd rub his, as weird as it sounds, rub his pilot's license and then put it in my pocket. And it's always been a dream of mine to finish, come to a closure what he never was able to close. You go through scholarships, you can go through your school. You have the engineering scholarship, and you have the I want to be a teacher scholarship, and you have the I want to be a nurse scholarship. But there was never anything that I saw that was anything like this, which was great because there are a lot of people like me in this situation.
Today, there are over 100,000 soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and members of the National Guard defending America abroad in the war on terror.
Nobody's going to come over, tell my kids how to run their life or take their freedoms away. I'll be dead before that ever happens.
And one day, when the children of those service members lost in the line of duty want to go to college, the Freedom Alliance Scholarship Fund will be there, not just to give financial assistance, but to remind them that their parents' sacrifice will never be forgotten by a grateful nation.
There are tons of them out there, and there are going to be tons more because of this war.
This year I didn't need a loan. I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but that's huge for me because, that's a debt that I'm not going to have to pay back when I, get out of college.
There are many other people in my situation, if not worse, and this scholarship opens doors. It opened doors for me, and there are many people out there who need this door to be opened.
Please support our efforts to continue this most worthy cause. With your help, the funds donated to the Freedom Alliance Scholarship Fund will benefit those who live to endure the sacrifices their parents made, so we can be free.
Soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardsmen, and Marines, America's defenders of freedom. Many of them are heroes whose stories have yet to be told. The young men and women from whom you've just heard are their sons and daughters. They too have sacrificed, and are just a few of the many children who grow up without a parent who lost a life in the line of duty. We're here to help them. During my many visits to Iraq, Afghanistan, and other parts of the world, I've had the privilege of spending time with these young Americans. I admire and respect them more than words can convey. The sacrifices they make are unparalleled. They work 24/7, eat on the run, sleep in the dirt, and they'll offer their last drop of water to a thirsty child. And sometimes they have to comfort a best friend as he dies in their arms. In Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan, I've seen these young men make that final sacrifice for our country. It's never easy. What makes it more difficult is knowing that this American's dying prayer is for a loved one back home. Their last appeal is to us, their fellow countrymen, to care for the families they've left behind. Please help Freedom Alliance ensure that the prayers of our fallen heroes will never be forgotten. With your help, Freedom Alliance will not only help their children attain a college education, but will remind them that the parent they lost was a hero, not because of the way he died, but because of the way he lived. Thank you.
The Freedom Alliance Scholarship Fund video is a production of the Norma Zimdahl Let Freedom Ring educational series, produced and edited in the Norma Zimdahl Master Television Studios at the Leadership Institute, Arlington, Virginia.